Welcome back, and here we are. The hallowed winners' enclosure, the Golden Horseshoe at Hollywoodbets Greyville. This is where shortly after 4 o'clock on Saturday the 6th of July, we will unsaddle the winner of this year's Hollywoodbets Durban July. I'm joined by two of South Africa's Hall of Fame jockeys. On my right, Anthony Delpeche, past four-time winner of the race. He's going to take us through the gallops along with previous two-time winner of the race, Kevin Shea. Thanks. Wonderful to have Kevin and Anthony with me, and we're going to get straight into it. We're going to go through all 20 horses in saddlecloth order, where horses work together, such as with the Mike de Kock pair and of course the Tony Peter pair. Then we will go through those together. So let's get straight into it. Let's get into horse number 1, which is Royal Victory. He hasn't been seen on a racetrack for a while. He looked super impressive in the parade ring. Anthony, your comments first.
Yeah, I thought he was given quite a good hard workout. I think he stretched out very well. Muzi really got on behind him at the last 200 meters and gave him a good workout. Good work. Only thing I was a little bit concerned, he was sweating up a little bit before the gallop.
Kevin, you've ridden in many of these gallops. Do you like what you saw?
Yeah, I saw him sweating up in the parade ring, but Nathan said he did need the gallop, so he will come on for this from this workout. But for me, I've got one little query. I'm just worried about the Greyville straight. I don't know if that's going to be too short for him. It's my only worry about this horse.
Here's the course drawn in gate number 1, and referring to Kevin's comment, his 2 Grade 1 victories had come on at Turfentine on the Standside track with its long 800-meter run-in. He, of course, won the Summer Cup towards the end of last year and the Champions Challenge. So it's a multiple Grade 1 winner, is Royal Victory, and looking to give KwaZulu-Natal trained horse its first win in the blue riband of the South African turf for many a year. Now, the next gallop we saw was the ruling Hollywoodbets Durban July favourite, Green with Envy, of course, who's had a perfect prep into this year's race. I'll start with Kevin. Let's have a look at Green with Envy in action. He was given an easy time this morning by Craig Zaki, and somebody flashing past us.
I thought it was Green with Envy.
You thought that was Green with Envy rocking up? No. We're looking at Barbaresco, actually. Barbaresco, here's number 2, Barbaresco. And Barbaresco is the grey horse from the Johan Janssen van Vieren stable. Kevin, the interesting thing is that Gavin Loreen has got to get down to 53.5 kilograms.
Yeah, I know what it's like having to take weight off for the big race, but we all want to get in the winner's box, and we do sacrifice now. Barbaresco, I thought, ran a great race in the JD News 2000. He found trouble around the turn, got bounced around a little bit, and he ran on to finish behind Green with Envy and Flagman. And if you actually look at it now, Green with Envy and Flagman weights have both gone up, and he's stayed where it is. So it's 53.5. He stays with 53.5. So at the weights, if he can turn that form around, he should have the measure with the favourite at the moment.
Anthony, obviously the gallop didn't give too much away, but we know he's in a good space, and good third behind Flagman and Green with Envy in the Daily News. And as Kevin's just alluded to, a big pull at the weights now. Do you give him any kind of a chance? Do you expect him to see out the 2200?
Well, I think he's got a lot in his favour. Obviously, drawn 2 makes a big difference, and obviously the weight that he's got brings him in the race with a chance. But do I think he's a better horse than Green with Envy? No, definitely not. And I think Green with Envy is a horse that is on the up. So, yeah, but he's got a lot in his favour, and his gallop looked very good.
Okay, so let's move forward to number 3, without question, one of a number of runners from the Justin Snaith stable. The only filly in the race, I'm not referring to without question, but I certainly am referring to Rachel Venica. Without question, obviously a very good third back in January in the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. Not had the best lead into the race, Anthony.
No, I don't think so. And his form coming into the race is not really good. It's not really a horse that you'll be fancy. He didn't show too much this morning. He didn't give too much away. Easy piece of pace work, but he's not a horse for me.
So there we can see, without question, being put through its paces by Rachel Venica, who has her first ride in the Hollywoodbets Durban July. Of course, she's been an absolute phenomenon, has Rachel. She's had a wonderful season. Let's go now to one of the more fancied runners, and of course I'm referring to number 4, Future Swing. Richard Fourie. a record-breaking champion jockey teaming up with Justin Snaith. They've won this race before, and Future Swing, of course, has also, Kevin, had a lovely prep into the race. He was quite fresh this morning.
Yeah, jumping around in the parade ring. As you alluded to, Justin has got a handful of horses here, but I think I respect Richard's choice. He's the champion jockey. I respect him picking this ride. 54 kilos, a nice galloping weight. Looks well, and it's got to be in the shake-up. So you can see on the screen there too, Richard just giving Future Swing a little bit of a squeeze at the end. But yeah, I respect Richard's choice, so I've got to give it a chance.
Anthony, your impressions?
Yeah, he was a little bit keen in the first part of his gallop, and I don't think he gave too much away in his gallop, but he's got a very good draw and he's got a good jockey on his back.
Clearly very fit.
Yeah, he's a fit horse. He must be there with a chance.
Okay, so now we move to number 5, Green with Envy. I jumped the gun a little bit earlier, looking to get on with it, but now number 5, Green with Envy, of course, is the ruling 7-2 favourite with our sponsors, the familiar Kaya Stables colours. They were carried to victory in 2015 by Stuart Randolph on Power King. Craig Zaki, the regular pilot. Well, Kevin, he's just had an absolutely unbelievable prep into the race. He's had an unbelievable calendar year. He's unbeaten in 2024.
Yeah, he's done nothing wrong. What can I say? He's won the Guineas, he's won the Daily News, he stays, he's won the Derby. Only concern, I got a little bit of him. They gave him the 2 kilos for the Daily News win. I thought was very, very hard on him. He was definitely the best horse in the race. I would have thought he was the line horse, but he wasn't. He got those 2 kilos. Is that going to count at the death? But he's fit. He's a lovely horse. Dean knows how to train a July winner. I think he deserves to be favourite. Very nice horse. Lovely temperament. He's the right horse at favourite. If he's ridden properly and he's given a patient ride, I think he's definitely the horse they all have to beat.
Anthony, I'm going to put you on the spot. 3-year-olds versus the older horses. Where do you put the 3-year-olds in the pecking order? We know that Green with Envy is favourite, and we know that he likes to be ridden a particular way. Does he face a tough task against the older horses?
Yes, he does face a tough task if Craig Zaki has to give him 15 lengths to make up. But I think he's got a very, very good draw, and I think he's a horse that's just getting better and better. And I think with the draw that he's got, I think he's got to take advantage of it. And if he puts himself halfway back in the race and he gets a clear run up the straight, he's definitely the horse they're going to have to beat.
So there we have it. Green with Envy didn't give too much away this morning. Craig Zaki was very kind on him, but we know he's a super fit horse coming into the race. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's had a perfect prep into the Hollywoodbets Durbanville by trainer Dean Cannemeyer, and as mentioned, worthy favourite. Then Mike de Kock's 2 runners, they went along together, so we'll do numbers 6 Shoemaker and Aragosta together. They worked together, and then we get a comment from the lads. On the outside in the white colours, that's Aragosta. The far side in Arun Chadda's colours, that is number 6 Shoemaker. Shoemaker had big race jockey Diego de Gavea aboard, and Aragosta also Marco van Rensburg aboard, who will ride him in the big race. I chatted with Marco after the Gallops. He's very happy with the way that Aragosta was put through his work this morning. Anthony, I'll start with you. You've had wonderful record with the Mike de Kock stable in this wonderful race. You've won it 4 times, not all for Mike de Kock, but mostly for Mike de Kock. Do you think he's in the race this year?
Well, I think, I'll be honest, I don't think these are two horses that Mike would think can win the July. But the good thing is they're coming into the July in good form. They're starting to bring their form. But you look in the past of the class of horses that Mike has won the July are way better than these 2 horses.
One of the leading 3-year-olds in the race and multiple Grade 1 winner, of course still on the Highveld. He'll travel up to Durban for the big race next week. We saw him being put through his paces. On the Highveld, his gallop looked impressive. Here's Purple Pitcher. It was too loud. Too loud. So there we saw a Purple Pitcher, Kevin. He was stretching out really nicely, and he is a multiple Grade 1 winner as a 3-year-old. What do you make of him?
He was one of the horses that actually stood out to me with the work. There was 3 or 4 horses today at today's Gallop that looked well and they worked well, and I thought this was definitely one of them. So I respect Robin. I give her a chance. She deserves the berth. Bring her down and let's see how we can go. Like you say, multiple Group 1 winner as a 3-year-old. How can you ignore it?
So, Anthony, there have been a number of races where the 3-year-olds have not lived up to their billing. They've been put in their place by the older horses. The Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge was one of those. And this horse reappeared in the Jubilee Handicap, was beaten by the older horses, but his classic form was good. He's got a nice galloping weight. Robin Claassen produced a horse to run 5th last year at a big price. Do you put Purple Pitcher into the mix?
Well, the way I looked at the race, I thought this could be the pacemaker. And if this horse could have things his own way in front and make it a little bit tough, because there's 1 or 2 horses that does really want to pace in the race. And if he could control the race, he's definitely must have a place chance.
And of course, Pillar Sunday Mcauley gets his big chance in the sun, riding number 8 Purple Pitcher. Well, last year's race produced an absolute thriller between Winchester Mansion and See It Again. Winchester Mansion under Cabello Mazzignani coming out on top. And he's had all his preparation, as was the case last year, on the high felt. So let's have a look at Winchester Mansion being put through his paces, because I thought, Kevin and Anthony, I thought this horse worked particularly well. He's the 5-year-old son of Trippy now. And of course, he's the defending champion. Last year he came out of gate 4. This year he comes out of gate 9. But it's the same team. So as we're watching him, Kevin, your thoughts on Winchester Mansion's gallop, because I thought it was particularly eye-catching.
Yeah, definitely. I've spoken to the Crawford team. They're quite bullish about both their runners. For a horse to win back-to-back is not easy. El Picha was the last one I saw do it. And it's not an easy task. But got to have a chance. But to win back-to-back, I think with an extra 3.5 kilos, I think might be a little bit difficult this year.
Anthony, I've got to get your comment, because, as I say, he's one of the leading lights in the race. He's up in the weights, obviously, as a result of winning it last year. His form this year, he hasn't been over-raced. Are you concerned about the fact that he's had a lack of racing coming into the race?
Graham, that's exactly what I'm concerned is. I would have liked to have seen him have 1 more race before the Hollywoodbets Durban July, and that's my biggest concern. And you know, preparation coming into the race is really, really important. Gallops at home is different compared to having a race.
But we're not going to question Brett and James Crawford. They've been going up and down over the last couple of years between the Highveld and KwaZulu-Natal. Initially, their tactics, their strategy was questioned, but they've produced big race winners, so we're not going to question their strategy. And Winchester Mansion looked really good going through his paces on the Highveld. And the horse he beat last year, of course, number 10, See It Again. Piers Straydom jetted into town to partner him in the Gallops this morning. So let's have a look at See It Again in action. Okay, so here's the slow motion replay of See It Again. Piers Straydom, I spoke to him after the gallop because he moved through sweetly, quickly took control of the gallop over his 2 companions. But then Piers said he got a bit lazy. He
looked like it. I mean, Graham, if there was anybody I wanted to win the July last year, was Mace. He's been a hero of mine ever since a kid through my apprenticeship, and I really wanted to see him win it as a jockey and now as a trainer, and I think it was his chance last year. What I see now is I think he's a very good horse. I think just up at the weights, top weight, it's just going to be a little bit hard. I think his chance was last year. I'm sure he'll give you a shake-up. You'll hear the commentator will call him. He won't just fall out the back. He'll be in the shake-up. But to finish it off this year with 60 kilos, I think is just a little bit of a difficult task.
Anthony, do you share those sentiments?
No, this is my horse to win the Hollywoodbets Durban July. I really like him. My only concern is I wish that Michael had given him 1 more run in a race before this, but obviously Michael knows what he's done with the horse at home. I think he's a very good horse. I think we've got to ignore his last 2 runs in Cape Town. He was struggling with his blood and he wasn't right. I think he's definitely the best horse in the race. I think there's question marks about the 3-year-old, how good they are, but he's shown that he is a top horse, and I like the manner that he works. You know, good horses always shows you when they go past, they've won their race, and he was switched off towards the last 200-meter mark. I was very happy with his work.
If you were back in the jockey room and you had the choice of rides based on what you just said, See It Again, your choice of rides?
Yeah, I think he's a pretty simple horse to ride, and I think he's got a lovely draw halfway back in the field, drawn 10. I'd put him halfway back, and he's got a great turn of foot, and I just think Pierre must be a little bit more patient. I think last year, saying it himself, I just think he pulled the trigger a little bit too soon, and I'm sure Pierre is a champion. He knows he's won this race so many times, and I don't think he'll make the same mistake.
Well, will we see a repeat result of 2023? They're drawn right alongside each other. Winchester Mansion in gate 9, Seared again in gate number 10. And they'll have every chance of making a big impression in this year's race. Number 11, Oriental Charm, stable companion to Winchester Mansion, also trained by the Crawford Racing Team, also prepared on the Highveld. He's come into town on 2 occasions. He ran second in the World Sports Betting 1900, then took out the Hollywoodbets Dolphins Cup trial in impressive fashion. He's improved leaps and bounds since being placed behind Green with Envy in the Splashdown Derby. So let's have a look at Oriental Charm, the 3-year-old who's got a competitive weight. He's only got 53 to shoulder. Here we see with JP van der Merwe aboard. Of course, JP van der Merwe struck up a very, very good partnership with Oriental Charm. I'm going to start with you, Anthony, as we watch him being put through his paces. Wasn't asked perhaps to do as much as Winchester Mansion, but of course he's had a lot of racing, not a lot of racing, but he's had racing recently and he's very fit.
Yeah, he is definitely a very fit horse, and I liked his work. I thought he was doing easy pace work. I liked the manner he won last time. He pulled really, really hard in the race and never settled in front. But he showed a lot of guts towards the end of the race, and I thought he would have lied down after pulling so hard. So I thought it was a good win. But if you can say to me that Schumacher got a chance, I don't really think so.
Kevin, 3-4 months ago, if I said to you that Oriental Charm would be in single figures as far as the market is concerned for the 2024 Hollywoodbets Durban July, that he would be one of the leading lights coming out of the Splashdown Derby, you would have probably thought I've lost the plot a little bit. Yeah. But we have to be happy with the progress he's made since then.
Listen, he's done nothing wrong. I agree with you. You would never think 6 months ago, but he's run behind all the runners in the race. Winter Pearl, Green with Envy, Future Swing. He's run just behind them all the time. So can Brett come out and do it again? According to them, yes, they think they can. So they're happy with the weight, they're happy with the draw, and I think out of the 2 runners, I think Oriental Charm will finish in front of Winchester Mansion.
Okay, so Oriental Charm to upstage last year's winner as far as the 2 Crawford runners is concerned. That's Kevin Shea's opinion. Now, Tony Peters got 2 runners. They worked along together on the Highveld. Numbers 12, Son of Raj, and 13, Meridius. They worked together. They both kind of got into the race at the last minute. Meridius as a result of winning the Jubilee. Son of Raj, a former SA. We've got 3 former SA Derby winners in the field of 18. Anthony, Meridius the far side, near side Son of Raj. What did you think?
Well, I thought Meridius worked a little bit better this morning, and yeah, I think this track doesn't really, it's going to suit Son of Raj. He's a big galloper. I think he'll enjoy like a track like Turfentine, so I think he might find it a little bit tough here.
Well, of course, Meridius did beat Son of Raj in the Jubilee, but Son of Raj was giving quite a bit of weight away. So this time they meet at level weights. Son of Raj will have every chance of turning the tables. And as I said, Son of Raj, one of 3 former South African Derby winners in the race, along with Aragosta and, of course, the 3-year-old Purple Pitcher. Now, one of my fancies amongst the longer shots, he's currently 50 to 1. My logic is that at the weights, wherever Future Swing runs, Master Radat has every chance in being in front of him. Not on one line of form, on a couple of lines of form. So I was really looking forward to seeing his gallop this morning. He didn't give too much away, but he looked a picture of health as far as I was concerned, but it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what Kevin Shea thinks. What did you think of Master Radat?
No, I agree with you. I think you're getting value for money of note here, number 14, Master Radat. But the form line is all there, Graham. I agree with you 100%. If you think Future Swing is going to be in the gallop, the finish, this horse has got to be right on top there. Andre Nel, corner offer, good team. Must be a chance. Good value.
Anthony, you've got a great eye. You saw them in the ring. You saw the gallops. Didn't give too much away, but his condition looks good.
Yeah, he did look very well. He is in good shape. As you say, he didn't really give too much away, but he did look very, very well.
Cousin Casey, back in top form. Sean Terry is at the top of his game. The question that we all ask ourselves at this time of the year is, does Cousin Casey handle 2,200 meters? So before we get to the answer to that question, let's have a look at Cousin Casey in action in his gallop, which was pre-recorded on the Highveld. Sporting the same silks, of course, as Future Swing. Ravi Naidu, in partnership, has got a two-pronged attack into this year's Hollywoodbets Durban July. He's got Future Swing drawn in gate 4. He's got Cousin Casey drawn in gate 15. Samanga Kamala, of course, recently won the race on Sparkling Waters. The defending jockey champion is Kabela Matsinyani. Kevin, this is Cousin Casey towards the near side. What do you think?
We all know him. He's above average horse. He's been a good 2-year-old, 3-year-old, and he's moved on as a 4-year-old. But are we going to get the Cousin Casey at his best on the day? I think he's got a couple of issues. You've got to get over those. But the distance, question mark, Anthony might be able to tell us. 2,200, is he good enough? I respect Samanga, I respect Sean Terry, but on paper, I don't think he can win the July. No.
Certainly, Anthony, it's been great to see him bounce back. Second in the Drill All Stacks, second in the Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge, the kind of perfect 2 runs to come into the race. We faced again with this question that we always ask ourselves, the trip of 2,200 meters. Kevin doesn't think he'll get home. I'm sort of sitting on the fence. Give him a chance depending on how the race pans out, depending on the pace. Do you think he'll get home over 2,200?
Yeah, he's come into the race with very good form, but he's got a lot against him. He's drawn 14, and there is question mark about him getting the trip. And he's not an easy horse to ride. He's a horse that is very aggressive, likes to pull the jockeys around, and from that draw, he's going to find it a little bit tough, especially question mark over seeing the trip.
One horse that was supplemented into the Hollywoodbets Durban July was this year's World Sports Betting Cape Town Met winner, double Superlative. Of course, we all believed he had been retired from racing. We all believed he was heading off to stud, but there was a bit of a volte-fuss. They didn't about turn. He was supplemented. He ran the other day in the Pinnacle Stakes. We come back to the question, Anthony, because he looked absolutely superb this morning. He looked absolutely superb. We come back to the question of prep. Has he had the kind of prep coming into this race that he can repeat the success that he had earlier this year in January?
Yeah, firstly, I got to say he really looked well, and he moved really well in the gallop, but he has had no prep coming into the race, and it's a big concern for me.
Kevin, same question to you, because clearly he's just had the one run, and it was far from a really good run. One has to cut to the chase. It was not a good run in the Pinnacle. But then if you go back to his prep run before the Cape Town Met, he ran in a 1,600-meter race. He wasn't sighted, came out to win the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. Similar sort of path, but is he fit enough? Is he ready enough?
When you look at him, he hasn't been prepared. Absolutely not. He's always been a good looker. He's always been a fairly good horse. But his preparation, I think you've got to come into the July, you've got to prepare a horse. It's a 6-month program, and you've got to go. This horse looks like he's just thrown in maybe to keep another one out. So for me, no, not for me.
Okay, strong opinions coming through from Kevin Shade. Now, off air, we've had a chat before coming on air. And one horse that has had a terrific prep, one horse that Gavin van Zyl believes is the one they all have to beat, and the one horse that the panel thinks might just have put up the best gallop this morning. This, of course, is number 17, Flagman, from the Gareth van Zyl stable. Serena Moodley aboard. Anthony, we were chatting off air, possibly the best gallop today.
Yeah, I thought he was the best gallop horse today, and he really looked well. He moved very well. The one thing I like about this horse, he's got a lot of guts. I've seen a couple of his races where he's won. He's looked like he's beaten, but he's come back to win. He's a horse that got the guts to win. I think the draw is a little bit difficult for Serena, but I think if he finds himself in a good position, he'll be fighting it out.
I was a doubter going into the Daily News, and Gavin van Zyl said to me, "Why do you doubt me? I told you he'll run a cracker." He hauled me over the coals, and I took the beating with like a man, because after the race, clearly, when running Green with Envy to a head in the Daily News 2000, I had to accept that that I'd misjudged him. So forget all his previous runs, which were all terrific. Judged purely on the Daily News 2000 run, Kevin, and you've also been chatting to the van Zyls. You know what they think of him. Clearly, they would have been disappointed with a 17 draw, but that's what it is. You've got to go out there and beat the best with all kinds of obstacles and challenges in your way. Can you see this horse winning the 2024 Hollywoodbets Durban July?
Yes, I can. There's a lot of talk about him. The stable are very bullish about him. His work today was phenomenal. As you said, by far the best work on the course today. If he brings that to the races, he's a very big runner. Unfortunately, the weights have caught up with him. Could have come in with a lot less if he didn't shake green with Henry up in the Daily News 2000. I mean, in the 2000. But yeah, this horse, I really think, I'm not really worried about the draw, Graham. He's got gate speed. So he's going to come out, he can go straight for the first 3 furlongs, get him across. Yeah, Serena's got his hands full. He's got a big ride here. He's got a good horse. And I think this horse, don't leave him out of anything. I think he's a very big runner.
Well, of course, the Sales were caught between a rock and a hard place because off a 92 rating without going into the Daily News 2000, they can't possibly make the cut and get a run. So they had to expose the brilliance of the horse. This they did in no uncertain terms when he ran second to Green with Envy, beaten only ahead in the Daily News 2000. He now gets a half a kilogram from Green with Envy, which on paper brings the two of them much closer together. So as you can hear, my 2 Hall of Famers on my left, Kevin Shea, and on my right, Anthony Delpeche, both very much aware that Flagman is one of the leading lights in the race. The last of the 18 carded runners is number 18, Future Pearl. Grant van Niekerk has been declared to run him. He got into the race as a result of his Tab Gold Derby when he prepared on the Highveld. So let's have a look at him in action at Reinkiesfontein. And as you can see, winter has taken a hold on the Highveld. All the green tracks are now firmly brown, having been frostbitten. But I have to say that he appears to have come out of the track and ball, the Tab Gold Derby, rather in very, very good spirits. Anthony, he looks very full of himself. He looks fresh. He looks like good space, enjoying his work.
Yeah, his work was really, really good. I think he's a horse that comes well this time of the year. He won a very impressive race. Listen, I think it's going to be a tough task for him. I believe he'll win the Gold Cup. I can't see any horse beating him in the Gold Cup. But saying the July, but he is very well, but not for me.
Gold Cup. I think he's going. This could be a good run for the Gold Cup. For me, he's a Gold Cup horse. I've never seen a horse come out the Derby, our Durban Derby, and come and win the July. So
I think Illustrador might have done that many, many years ago. But those colours, very sentimental for you, because those are the colours you carry to victory when riding Dance's daughter.
The late Mr. Graham Beck, great man racing, and just to see them still on the track is absolutely phenomenal. Great colours.
Okay, so I'm going to be asking Anthony and Kevin for their top 3 choices, not necessarily putting them into a corner and asking them to put them in any particular order. While they're thinking about that, we're going to have a look. We've been through the 18 runners, but there are 2 reserve runners, and there's still an opportunity up until next Friday, the 5th of July, for them to get into the race. So let's have a look at number 19, Schlushlui. He was put through his paces here at Hollywoodbets Greyville this morning. He was sweating up quite badly. He's, of course, also trained by Justin Snaith, also owned by Nick Johnson, bred at the Drakenstein stud. He was a Group 2 winner as a 3-year-old this season, early in the season. But Anthony, just to get a quick comment from you, obviously this is reserve horse 1, so he's not in the market, and at this point in time he's not in the race, but he was given the opportunity to strut his stuff this morning. Should he get in, is he a player in any shape or form?
No, I didn't like the way he was sweating up, and yeah, Sean obviously didn't really show too much. No, I can't have him. I don't think he's got much of a chance.
Okay, the other reserve runner, number 20, reserve 2, is from the Sean Tarry stable. He's being prepared up on the Highveld. He's a 3-year-old son of Erskine Garrix. He's been there and thereabouts in the 3-year-old features. He's, of course, got the Keystorm Syndicate colours, the red with the white stars, black sleeves, white stars, being put through his paces behind a companion. His last couple of runs, he's been there and thereabouts, as I said. But Kevin, if he were to get into the field, which obviously would require 2 scratchings between now and before the end of next week for him to make the final field, he's one of the longer shots, always been one of the longer shots. If he was lucky enough to get a run, any sort of chance?
No, I don't give him much of a chance, Graham, to be honest with you. His form doesn't suggest he's there, so not for me, thanks.
Okay, so Shloshlui and Hotarubi are not fancied even if they get a run by either Anthony or Kevin. So here are the sectional times. You can run through them. We're not going to go through them one by one. I would ignore pretty much all of the 800 meter to finish times because a lot of these horses were just getting into their stride. The 400 meter to finish times might well be a lot more meaningful. And just looking at that, confirming Green with Envy 22,66 and Flagman 22,73. That is a kind of margin that separated them in the Daily News, a fraction of a second separating them in the Daily News. So it's clearly they enjoyed their work down the straight here, Anthony.
Yeah, obviously Green with Envy was on his own, so obviously they do a bit less. But yeah, that's exactly what I thought. He was really smart. He galloped well. He's definitely the best three-year-old in the race, and he's given a good ride. He'll be there in the finish.
Okay, so those were the sectional times. So we've been through the gallops. We're very pleased that you've joined us here at Hollywoodbets Greyville this morning. Before I wrap this all up, I'm going to head to my left and get Kevin to give us 3 names. You're entitled to change your mind between now and next week. That's what we racing guys do. We start off on one page and move to another. But as we sit here, in the wake of the gallops, give me 3 names. Throw 3 names out at me.
Green with Envy, definitely. Flagman, definitely. Barbaresco.
Wow. 3-year-olds. 1, 2, and 3. That's quite a statement coming from Mr. Shea. And he could well be right, of course. Anthony, not easy, I know. There are 18 live wires out there, and I'm asking you to narrow it down to 3. Give me 3 as well.
Well, I'm going to go on this morning's gallop more than my fancy. On this morning's gallop, Flagman was the best gallop for me, definitely the best gallop. Green with Envy, very, very good gallop, and see it again.
Okay, so there you have it from Anthony Delpeche. I am going to plead the 5th at this stage. I'm not going to offer up my selections. We've got all of next week to do that, but this is my last chance to be in the company on air with Anthony and with Kevin. So yes, we've got a couple of days to go. We've got, what have we got? 10 days to go before the 2024 renewal of the 5 million rand Hollywoodbets Durban July. We've seen the gallops, lots of activity leading into the big race. It's a whirlpool race day. Whirlpools on the Hollywoodbets Durban July and the Ridgemont Garden Province Stakes. So we've got massive pools to look forward to. Hollywoodbets Greyville is going to come alive in a way like never before. The sponsors are passionate, they're enthusiastic, and they've brought much to the table. So we look forward to seeing these 18 thoroughbreds in action on Saturday, July the 6th. Thanks for being with us.